Oh, okay. And we're live.
Awesome.
Cool, cool. So Keith is here. All right, cool. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in, or if you're watching on Facebook Live or watching a little bit later, this is the third episode of what we call Surviving at Home series, where I interview a whole bunch of business owners and business leaders during this time. And I plan on doing this until COVID-19 becomes history. All right, so can be a few months. It can, well, I hope not, I hope it doesn't expand into a year or whatever, but I'm committed to do this little show, this little series, this little interview for as long as COVID-19 or this new normal will end. Okay. So today I've got my friend Keith Chen with me. Hello, Asian.
Hey
Hey
Alec, how you
Alec, how you
doing?
doing? Yeah, good man. Good, good. Keith is runs an interior fit out company. Okay, I'll let him to do a lot of talking in terms of what he does and stuff like that, right? But yeah, I'm just interested to find out, man. Keith, what do you do? What does before COVID-19 look like, and obviously the new normal now? How are you guys going?
A lot of things have really slowed down, and that has had a ripple effect on us as well because we tend to be on the tail end of project's life cycle.
Mm.
So that means a lot of things delay, which means we don't know when we'll get to some of these projects. So yeah, so
Man.
like sales wise, kind of slowed down.
Yeah, okay. So you were doing a lot of stuff at scale, right? So you're not, I mean, you still do your usual mom and dad or home what do you call it? Owners occupier who wants to
Mm,
jazz up their space and whatnot, but you were really doing it at scale where you were supplying to, big developments, big builders and
mm.
and stuff like that, right? And now the fact that, a lot of do you find a lot of construction projects on hold? Like,
I found out of like five recently, two were on hold and
mm,
three are still going.
mm.
But there's definitely like they've definitely slowed down. So
And when you say they're on hold because they don't want the workers to work anymore, or
um,
money stopped coming in, or what?
yeah, one of them said that I think some of their supplies weren't being delivered, so they couldn't continue construction. And I think that was the main reason for those two projects. So
Right.
um, one of them recently had the COVID-19 positive case. It was actually on the news.
Really?
Thankfully, yeah, thankfully we were next door in the completed building. We were completely separate, but it was on the day itself. We were actually operating. But
Wow.
thankfully, all my team had PPE gear and all that. But yeah, it's
Okay.
quite crazy out there.
Right. Okay. So what does it normally look like? So you would go in and design the space.
Mm.
You would supply the furniture as well. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So half of furniture we actually source from overseas,
Yeah.
and half we actually partner with a lot of suppliers in Australia locally.
Yeah.
And obviously the overseas stock have slowed down due to all the restrictions, in importing and all that.
Wow.
Locally, that means people are also, all the suppliers are also affected because they get their stuff from overseas.
Yeah.
So we're actually telling some of our clients that, even if you want some stuff, delivered quickly, there's going to
Mm.
be a bit of delay. But so far, there's been still pretty good so far. So
Wow. Okay. So even if you can pick up jobs during this time, there's still a high possibility that you can't deliver.
no,
Is
we
that
can still deliver definitely. So
right?
there could be like, out of 10 items, there could be maybe two items that will have to, source for alternative options. But we
Yeah.
can definitely still deliver within 7 to 14 days,
Yeah.
unless more restrictions come in, then, things can slow process down as well.
Wow. Okay. Sounds like it's all stuff hitting the fan for you guys at the moment, right? Well, it is for a lot of people. So how are you pivoting during this time, man? Like, what does life look like right now?
Yeah, so we're actually really listening close to what's happening in the property market, and the main thing that's really happening is some people are trying to sell their properties. So one thing we're pivoting is we're trying to help stage people properties a lot more. Previously, we didn't do a lot of that. We only did it for selective clients. But now that
So what do you
a
mean by
lot of people
staging property? Just explain it to me in the most basic terms, if you can.
Yeah, definitely. So staging means someone will rent the furniture from us, and we will go there, set it up, make the property look nice, so that the vendor can then put it on the market for people to come and inspect, right? But obviously now with the restrictions, people can't really inspect physically. Private inspections are still available, but most people want to see things online. So we're also pivoting to provide extra services to help people view it online as well.
Okay. So it sounds like you're still navigating a few ways to to stabilize your business during this time, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
And how are you doing, like, just personally? Like, are you just stuck at home all day, or are you out and about delivering furnitures? And what does your family life look like, so on and so forth?
Yep. So I'm actually in my office because my office is very close to where I live, and it's only me. I've sent all my staff home, so I get my wife's working at home, so then I work here and I can really focus. I have done like a handful of deliveries just to save a bit of cost. We would deliver ourselves in terms of safety as well, because we know all the precautions now, and then we're implementing and improving on that as well. But in terms of mental state, I guess I'm still pretty alert. I'm just trying to be as aware and as calm as possible.
Right.
Just try to really digest what's happening and evaluate and see what we can really do, and trying to be as responsive and on top of what's happening around us, especially from the government as well. So
yeah, absolutely. I think really this whole situation is a training ground for us to be more resilient for all of us. I think one of the people that we look up to, Wez Hone, he talks about when we signed up for business, we signed up for the bad times as well, right? So it's all training ground. I think 2-3 years down the track, we look back, if we're still in business, we'll be thankful of this season, even though it's terrible around the world, health wise and economy wise. But I think if we do survive and come out on the other side of it, we'll be thankful COVID-19 happened, so that we become stronger and better entrepreneurs, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, I want to ask you, because I know networking has been one of your biggest marketing efforts. I basically see you at networking events all the time. Not that I'm a huge network animal, but I'm now officially calling you the networking animal, right? Keith Chen, the networking animal, right? Because you're literally at every single event that I know of, and on your social as well, because you're involved in BNI and a lot of other networking groups as well. What does that look like now? So obviously we can't go to events and things like that, and networking being a big part of what you do. How are you adjusting, or how is the whole networking vibe? What's going on in that space?
Yeah. So as you guys know, or as you know, I'm part of a BNI group, and BNI is a global networking group that meets on a weekly basis, early morning on a Wednesday at like 6:30, right? So obviously now we can't meet, but BNI has been really good and proactive in the sense that they've transitioned literally overnight online, really utilizing Zoom. And that's a great platform, because with BNI structure, we're able to not only network, but anyone can join from their own home. And you can easily find out how each businesses are doing, ask for referrals. So through, even though, we're still networking via Zoom, in the past 2 weeks, I was able to refer a couple of referrals to people who does digital marketing, like one like yourself, right? So because everyone's trying to switch to online, I think networking in general, everyone is going to transition online. Today I've got like 5 Zoom calls. So I'm trying not to have too many Zoom calls, even though it's also quite efficient, because you have no travel time. So it's actually a pretty good time to network right now. Just pick up the phone, or go on Zoom and just make that call, find out how the other person's doing and how you guys can work together. Simple.
Yeah. 100%. Now I'm with you in terms of the back-to-back phone Zoom calls, man. Like in the last 3 weeks, I think I've got on 50-60 Zoom calls. Just like really, like I'm blocking out time so that like I've got 2 hours worth of call times, and then I'm booking in 4 calls, half an hour each.
Yeah.
It's super productive, man. Like I honestly, in the last 3 weeks, I'm like I've never been this productive in terms of like pushing out work, because there's no excuse anymore, you know.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah,
commute, there's no like, you know, you can do
yeah.
coffee break for 10 minutes, but like, you know, you've got all this time now. Get stuff out, you know, get shit done.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, shout out to Wez. Like he was challenging us at the summit to, write down your to-do list 3 days in advance, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm slowly putting it into practice. And one thing he kept driving was no white space. So I
Yeah, no
think
gaps.
not too
Yeah.
bad. There's
Wow.
still a little bit of white space, but you can see like
Yeah.
trying to plan
Yeah.
as much as I can to make the most of, being stuck
Yeah.
in one place. So yeah.
Awesome, man. All right. Well, okay. The other thing that I wanted to ask you, obviously, you know, a big part of what you do is to help people to create spaces that people would want to live in, or, you
Mm,
know, an environment that people would enjoy.
mm,
So with this whole working from home
mm.
scenario right now, for people like myself and you and a lot of our friends as well, we've been used to this whole working from home environment, so that we've got dedicated workspaces set up and whatnot. But for those who are not really set up for working from home from the get-go, what would be some of the tips that they can get, or furniture, like simple furnitures that they can get, you know, on a small budget? What would you say to those people?
Number one thing, seriously, invest in a good, comfortable, ergonomic chair, right?
Amen.
Make sure your even table as well. Make sure the height is right. Make sure, but the chair plays a massive difference because posture is very, very important.
Yeah.
And then you can start to adjust everything to how you would sit to make sure your posture is good, right? So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
very guilty of slouching a lot, but yeah, just invest in a good chair. Go to Office Works. A good study chair will be anywhere from $100 to $200. Like it will be a worthwhile investment for the next 3 to 6 months. So
Yeah, this chair that I've got, I'm not sure if you can see
yep,
this chair.
yep.
My wife got it for me for our wedding, like over 8 years ago now. It's still
Wow,
like, it costs $400 back then, but this is like the best thing ever. You
wow.
know,
Yeah,
you can stay focused in these things for hours. You know, because
yeah, yeah,
you're absolutely right. It's, when you're sitting right, and then you feel like you're in like game mode.
mm,
You feel like you're super focused, and then
yeah,
I'm ready on the world. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Maybe what you can do is you can send us some links a little bit later, so I can put in the show notes
yeah, yeah.
on
Definitely. Yeah,
portable chairs that people can get.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so number one tip would be getting good chairs, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that would you recommend standing desk as well?
I think it's a personal preference. So for me, I just tend to just walk around when I need to, relax a little bit. I'll
Yeah.
take a break. But
Mm.
some people do like to work with a standing desk. So it really comes down to preference. I can actually just sit in a chair like almost the whole day and just walk around a little bit, and that's fine for me. But if some people
Yeah.
want a standing desk, if you can actually get a really good one from IKEA. I think it's only $200 or $300. It's really, really
Yeah.
cheap, and you can manually adjust the height.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just really depends on everyone how they work. So
Okay. The
yeah.
other thing I want to ask you, how about where to position your desk? Like, if you've got a room, got a window, like what would be the best spot for a study desk, or some kind of, if you need to, like I've done some rejiggling of, my house now that I've got more time.
Mm,
So let's say someone wants to convert their spare room, or convert
mm.
half of the bedroom into a workspace.
Yep.
Like where should they position that desk or that workspace?
Yeah, so I think the one of the best places you could do is just put right in front of the window. So, and have your screen, like, how to say, facing you, and the window is behind the screen. So that
Yeah.
if you have the
So
screen,
you get direct sunlight.
exactly. So you
Yeah.
get natural sunlight, and then depending on the orientation of your house, you may, if it's too hot as well from the sun, too much direct sunlight, then you just put your blinds down.
Yeah.
But at least you're getting some natural sunlight. You don't feel as claustrophobic as well. You're right
Yeah.
next to something that's a bit more open,
Yeah.
open space per se.
Yeah.
So that would be my best recommendation. So
Yeah. Well, just be a little bit more geeky. Would north facing be the best spot? Like, would you want to be facing north, like ideally?
ideally,
I don't know. I'm
not
just picking it
really.
out.
because
okay.
my office, I'm actually facing a little bit north, and the sun can really come in. So I've got blinds out right now, right? I've got sheer blinds, so there's a bit of sunlight that comes in, still fairly bright. I've got natural sunlight now, as you can see, right?
Yeah.
So as much as I've got lights, I've got natural sunlight. But that's something that you can definitely replicate at home. For the next 6 months, it's very important to bring sunlight in. So north wouldn't be the best, but somewhere tilted towards north a little bit will be fine.
Okay.
So.
Okay, cool. All right, well, the last question that I want to ask you is, because the world has gone crazy and everybody's depressed and going insane. What is the one positive note that you want to leave to the people who are watching? What are you positive about, excited about this season, or what in the months to come?
Yeah, I think one thing that just keeps coming to mind is, which funnily enough is what Wez Hone said as well.
Man, we're definitely going to turn this episode into a Wez Hone fest. Man.
Yeah. I wrote down, a couple of things I want to focus on. And then when I went to the KBS, he confirmed like 80% of it. I was like, wow. I was very satisfied.
By the way, KBS is Kingdom Business Summit. Wez Hone is a business coach in a very niche market, being the Christian market. So, we've been in the Wez Hone tribe for a number of years. Just
put the link below as well.
Yeah, well, there will be a link, whatever, right? Just FYI. Yep. So what is the one positive? Yep.
Yeah, so positive thing would be really focused long term. Yes, it's going to be tough in the next 3-6 months. Even now, for a lot of businesses, they've started to close as well. But really focus on the long term. If you can tough it out, that would be really good, as what Wes said. But if you're an entrepreneur, we're not in it just to make a quick buck, right? Really in it to make a difference, to really create value, to help solve people's problems. So we really need to think and focus long term. And that's what will, get you through the next couple of months. That's what I'm doing. And I hope that's something that, all my fellow entrepreneurs, business owners can do together. And then together we can help each other out through the season and get over to the other side.
Yeah, 100%, man. The amount of community and just goodwill amongst the entrepreneurial circle, if you will, has been enormous. Everybody's reaching out and helping out, and not trying to outdo each other anymore, just trying to help each other to survive. And yes, there will be casualties, people getting out of business, but look, man, as what we said before, this season is going to make us stronger as entrepreneurs. So amen and amen, man.
Amen.
Cool, man. All right. Well, thanks, Keith, for joining us. I'll put all the links and things in the Facebook post. Thanks for joining us, man. All the best with MORC Interiors. How do people find you and do business with you?
Just follow us on Facebook or LinkedIn, Instagram, social media. We're putting content out every day or every second day. And you can find us there and talk to us. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's MORC Interiors, right? MORC. MORC.
Yes. Yep.
MORC, MORC Interiors. Keith Chen, CHEN. All right, guys, check him out. He's an amazing guy. He's gonna help you to rejuvenate your home into an ideal space. And if you're an investor, a property investor, Keith is gonna help you to boost your ROI as well. Right?
Yep.
Good. All right. Well, Thanks, Keith. Talk to you soon, brother.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thanks, Alex. See ya.